So it is stories for children large and small, and those in between. So could you please put your hands together and welcome all the way from Romania? You're in Transylvania, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm in Transylvania. Transylvania moves where it is over hundreds of years, but it's a bit like Texas. It's a separate. It thinks of itself as a separate entity. So from Transylvania, could you please put your hands together and welcome Giorgiana?
Hello. Hi. Thank you. Thank you, John, for having me again. I've gathered some stories. Some are Romanian, some are just in in a sense of Romanian way, because I'm telling them, and I'm Romanian, and you can see that. I'm gonna share with you some stories this evening. I hope you like them. First story actually is it's a mixture of Brothers Grimm. It's also a story from Margaret Reed MacDonald, but also it's a Romanian mixture that I've put in. So here it is. So you have to first just to, shake. This is how I do it. And then breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out and concentrate. And once upon a time, there was a boy called Ilya. He was so sweet. He was so nice. And he listened to his father all the time. Of course, he grew up in this sense of being nice to people, being generous, all the time having the right measure in everything. But as he grew up and he was, young enough to go out and seek his fortune and seek his luck, he said to his father, Dad, I think it's my time to try my chance in life. Can I go now? Well, the father was a little bit sad because he said, well, you're my only child and I love you so much and I'm scared for you. Dad, please give me this chance. Just let me go. Just let me go out, please. And then he said, well, okay, you have my love with you and you can go now. But first of all, just remember all the time, be very, very generous to people, have your heart open, and of course, do the right thing all the time. And that will help you always. Okay, then. Thank you. And he went. And he went further and further and further. And up the hill, up the mountain, up down the mountain, down the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and stop. And he saw on the edge of the road there was a little mouse, and he said, "Hello, where are you going?" Well, I'm just gonna go and try my chance in life. Can I come here? Yeah, you can come, please. So they went further and further and further and further. And up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and stop. And he saw a little cat, and she said, where are you going? Yeah. Well, I'm just going to try to get my chance in life. Can I come with you? Yes, of course. Please come. And they went. And further. And further. And further. And up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and stop. And of course, there was a little dog, and can I come with you? Can I come with you, please? Yes, of course, you can come too. And they went further and further and further and further and further, and up the hill, up the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and they stopped. And there was a in the middle of the road, you can imagine that there was a rooster, and he said, "Cuckoo." That's the Romanian version of I don't know what do you like. Shubidoo and shubidoo. How do you say it in English?
You're going to tell us, please.
Right, right. Cuckoo-doo-doo-doo. Well, we say cucurigo, so it's like cucurigo. And the rooster said, "Well, what? Where are you going?" And Ilya said, huh, "I'm just going to try my chance in life. Can I come with you?" Cucurigo. That was the Romanian English version. and he said, "Yes, of course, you can come too." So they went further and further and further and further and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and stopped because they saw in front of them a chicken. This is a Romanian version of the chicken. I don't know how it is in English, but it's Romanian like this. Okay? So you're learning new words in English in Romanian. Where are you going? Where are you going? Well, I'm just gonna try to get my chance in life. Can I come with you? Can I come with you? Yes, of course. Come. And they went further and further and further and further and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill. And it was already dark. So they got into this big forest. And in the middle of the forest, they saw this is a Romanian house called Kula. It's only in the south of Romania, in Oltenia. And you can see there's like a little tower. So this house has only the door on the first floor, but all the other windows are very up, very, very up. So it's like a 2 or 3 levels house actually. And it's called Kula. This is a very Romanian traditional from the south house. So of course the windows were very up. And Ilya could not see what's going over there because they saw there was light in the windows, but it was dark around. And so Ilya said, "Can you help me, friends?" And all the friends of the animals said, "Yeah. Anyway, they were happy to help. So he said, "Well, we have to see if there's people over there. They could get us in so we can just rest for the evening. So first of all, let's just see what's going on over there on the window." So they put the dog, and then the cat, and then the rooster, and then the chicken, and then the mouse. And up he went, Ilya, and he saw on the window, inside the house, there were 3 robbers, and they were just counting a lot of big gold coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 1, 6, no, 5, 6. Anyway, they were not very good at math. So Ilya heard that they were robbers, and they were just counting and sharing the money that they've stolen from the village right next to them. So he went up and then down. He told his friends what's going on over there, and he said, "How about this time? I'm going up. We're doing the same pyramid again, but this time when I say 1, 2, 3, you start to scream, like really, really scream, like very silly and loud and noisy, okay?" And all the animals said, "Yeah, okay." So the dog, the cat, the rooster, the chicken, the mouse, and then Ilya went up. But he stayed there for a long time, waiting for the right moment. So the dog said, "What's going on over there? My back hurts." "I don't know," said the cat. "Let's see. What's going on over there? My back hurts." "Oh, I don't know," said the rooster. "Let me see. What's going on over there?" "I don't know. My back hurts." "Okay. Mouse, what's going on over there? My back hurts. I don't know. Let me see. Elia, what's going on over there? Our back hurts. So Elia said, okay, this is the right moment. Just wait a little bit. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and you can all start screaming. So the three robbers got so scared, like, pow, 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 and they went. They lost the money there, of course, in the house, and they were just gone. So all the friends and Ilie got inside the kulab, inside the house, the Romanian house, and they were very happy. Oh my God, that's so much luck for them, you know? A lot of big sack of golden coins. But Ilie said, friends, I'm sorry. I was brought up differently. We can't just take this money. It's not ours. We have to give it back to the people. And Yanuel said, you're right. We got to do the right thing. So they got all the sack of golden coins and they went towards the next village. And they went further and further and further. And up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, and they got there. So of course, all the people from the village were very surprised to see, you can imagine a boy and a lot of animals dragging all this sack of golden coins, and they all gather around and said, this is our gold. And you say, yeah. And Ilya said, yes, it's yours. And we brought it back. So it's yours. It's your work and your money. So here it is. And as they were saying goodbye and wanted to go out, get out from the village, the mayor said, wait a minute. You've done a great job here. Because of you, all my people are rich now again. And they got their savings back. So this is for you. And they gave them all a big sack of golden coins. And they were happy because you see, their work, the good work they've done, is now rewarded. So they went back home and they went further and further, further and further, and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill. And the first time they had to, separate. And this time the mouse said, Ilya, I'm so happy. You are such a good friend. I have to go now. Goodbye. I said, no, said Ilya. This is your golden coin for what you've done. I mean, we're friends, and without you, I could have made it. Okay, so this is for you. Thank you so much. Mulțumesc, which is the Romanian. And the mouse said, kids. That's the Romanian mouse talking. So he left. And all the friends and Ilya went back home, and they went further and further and further and further, and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill. And of course, this time the cat said, well, it was nice. I liked it very much, the experience. Meow. Well, it's time to go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. But of course, this time Elia said, well, listen to me. You're our friends. You're a friend now, Edson. I think you deserve this coin, this golden coin. It's yours. This time, it's because of you too. So thank you very much. Oh, what's a mess? I mean, thank you. And she said, meow. I think it's the same thing in English too. So I won't translate that. And they went further and further and further and further, and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill. Of course, all the friends had to one point, go back home. So this time the rooster said, "Cook-a-dee-goo," or "Goodle-doodle-doo." And Of course, he'll have to leave too. But he got his own golden coin. And Ili was very happy to have another friend and to say goodbye and to reward him. And they went further and further and further and further and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the mountain. And you know the rest. Of course, even the chicken said, good, good, it was nice. I have to go back home to my chickens. Okay, goodbye. Wait. Have your golden coin first, and thank you for being a good friend. Well, thank you. And and she went back home too. And they went further, further, and further, and further, and up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, down the hill, up the hill, up the mountain, down the mountain, up the hill, up the hill, up the hill. Anyway, and until all of his friends went back home. The mouse, the cat, the rooster, the chicken, and of course the dog. And he came back home with a sack of gold. This is why it happened to him, because he was nice and kind and generous and he did the right thing. So his father, when he saw him, started to cry and said, my son. This is Romanian. This is sort of a, I want to kiss you, I want to hug you, you're my wonderful son. And of course they hugged and they were happy and lived happily ever after. Și am mâncat ca pe așa și v-am spus povestea așa. Uiha! And that was the end of the story in Romanian again.
Giorgiana, can I practice
Yeah,
the animals and see if my memory cells are working?
right.
Mouse, Sarase. Close.
Okay.
Yeah, because rooster, cuckoos,
Cucurigu.
cucurico.
Yep.
Dog, quene,
Hum hum. Hum hum.
hum hum.
Yep.
And what's left? Cat, pisico.
That's meow. It's meow.
Yeah, but yeah, the sounds,
chicken.
but yeah, but the chickens put yeah, but in Romanian, the dog is quine. Is that right?
Câine. Yes, câine.
Yeah. Just get my memory cells.
Yeah. Dog, câine, cat, pisică,
Pisico.
Rooster, cocoș,
Cocoș.
chicken, găină,
Okay.
găină, and mouse, șoricel.
Sorry, so.
Yes,
Okay.
șoricel or șoarece. It sounds very Latin, actually.
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah.
Not close enough, but close. I need to practice because when I get in a Romanian school, I'll have to be translating myself. Anyway, I'm gonna let you get on with the next story. I just thought
Yes.
it just needed to get my memory cells back.
Yes. So I'm gonna tell you a story this time that it's very close to my heart. So it's for small kids and big kids all together. Okay. So just shake, shake, shake. Breathe in, breathe out. Concentrate. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Arsenia, and he lived in a family that would share a lot of love. Since always he was brought up to just to share love, even if at one point in one day him and his siblings were just fighting for something silly, it didn't matter. By the evening, they would have to say, I'm sorry, because they knew that a very important element of the true love is that you have to forgive as soon as that. So they could not go to sleep before saying I'm sorry, because this way they could share their real love and go further like that. But you see, one day, Arsenie, he was a young boy now, and he lost all his family, parents, siblings, everybody in a big tragic accident. So because of that, all the love that was shared in the family was left in his side now, because all the love that wasn't consumed was put now was just put it in a sack. So it was like, let's say, a genetical, duty he had. He could not get away. He could not escape from this love. And this love was all put in a big sack that was attached to his back. So you can't see that because he could just feel it, but you can't see it, the sack in the back of Arsenia. But he realized that he could not take it away. It was just stuck over there on his back. And there was a lot of love, like all the family can imagine, a lot of siblings and parents and grandparents. It was a lot of love that wasn't consumed. So Arsenia had to do something because the sack of love started to hurt him a lot. Like his back was hurting and he had big pains because of that. And he said, well, what should I do now with this sack? What should I do with all this love? And he saw that when he started to share around love, the big sack would not hurt him anymore. It would have the same structure, but it would be loose and easy to carry. So he started to share love. And he went all around his nice little town and he shared over there and there and there until everybody had love from Arsenia. And still, the sack was very heavy and hurt him a lot. So he said, I have to go out. I have to just go further. And he went from village to village, from town to town, from city to city, and he started to share love. And he went just in the big marketplace. Well, people were just selling carrots and potatoes, and he was over there too. Someone say, please come over here. I have potatoes. Just two lei a piece. Come here, come here. No, no, 1 kilogram of potatoes. That's much easy for here, for us here. Come, come, come. Just 1 leu. This is Romanian money. But Arsenia was just screaming, please come, have love. It's free. And people would come, some will have just 1 kilogram of love and some just put a little bit in a pocket. Sometimes he would just forget that the love was in his pocket and would just throw the coat one place in a corner and forget about it. But people, everybody would just go around and have some love as much as they said they needed for that day. And he went further because the sack was still so big and he just wanted to share the love, to lose this pain he was having on his back. And because of that, he started to be more, sad and more keen on this, just to throw this love because it was hurting him so much. So he went further from village to village, from town to town, from city to city, in the big marketplace and screaming, please, please, come. I have love and it's free. But you see, at one point, people would just go and have a little bit of love, as much as they needed. And he wanted to give them more and more, but they won't have it. They won't take it. They would rather have potatoes or carrots than love. And that was very sad for him. And he started to be very upset, very angry, actually. He was gathering a lot of anger inside him. And he went further all the streets in the very big cities and just screaming, please, I have love, come. He was so upset that people would not understand that it's love. I mean, like, what do you want more? It's love and it's free. But the weird thing is that it's like a paradox. As much as he wanted to give love, people started to run away from him, shouting the doors and locking them and the windows, and just mother taking their kids in front of him and just running back in the house. And he felt that, and he was so sad. But at the same time, there was a lot of anger inside him. He was even like getting a lot of love and just throwing in front of a door, just putting there and saying ding dong, and he ran away. Or sometimes when he saw a little door or like a window a little bit open, like just a little bit, he would just throw some love, love over there in the room. But he was just pushing things, throwing over the fences, throwing over the porch love, just to lose this weight he had on his back, and this pain that he was having in his heart and in his back too. So at one point he got so scared, so that he will never get away from this sack of love and this pain. And he started to cry and said, why can't you just have the love? Why can't you just understand? I'm giving it for free and my back hurts so much. And he started to cry. And in that moment, he just fell down, and he said, he crashed and said, I can't do it more. I can't do this anymore. So God, just do something with me. I can't do it anymore. It's too much. It's too much. I miss my family. I have all this sack of love. Nobody wants it. And I have this pain on my back and in my heart. And in that moment, an old man, very nice, very sweet. It seems he's like a sort of a monk that was just crossing over the street, and he was going towards his monastery. And he saw this young man, he looked like a beggar on the street. And he approached and said, what's happening to you? And he said, I just want to give my love. I just want to lose this pain. And the monk said, come with me. And the first moment that he saw this man, this monk that was having so much, generosity and kindness towards him, he felt so good, like when he had a family. And he went inside the monastery, and the monk said, please, please, come into my house, come into my room, have a seat. And in that room, the monk's room, it's called kilie, it's from Greek. And he felt so nice. It was like a good smell of flowers, wild flowers. And the old man said, please, please have a seat. And he put in front of him a bowl. And he had a lot of apples that he brought from the marketplace. And he started to put apples one on top of the other on the bowl, one, more, until Arsenia said, well, I'm sorry, it's too much. It's going to spill over. And the monk said, thank you for saying that. Okay. And then he put him a glass of water, and he started to pour water and water more and more until it was almost on top, the water. And again, Arsenia said, please stop. The water will just spill around, will pour around. Please stop. And the monk said, oh, thank you for saying that. Please have. And he started, he was very thirsty of kindness, first of all. And of course, he was very thirsty. And he started to drink. It was very sweet, a very sweet and fresh water from the fountain. And then he started to eat the apples. They're so good. So good apples, There's a lot of sweet enough and sour enough. The best apple that you can have. It's a Romanian apple. It's very crunchy, but also soft at the same time. And he started to eat, wow, another one, and another one, until he could not have more. But there was a lot of apples left there. And the monk said, please have some more. Sorry, my belly is it's big already. Okay, I'll have another one. And he started to eat another one, but he said, I'm sorry, I'm going to explode. I have to stop now. Thank you very much. And the monk said, well, you see, Arsenia, it's the same with love. People can only have as much as they need. You can't have more water or more apples than you can take, right? It's the same with love. And people are like this. So you don't have to be angry at them. You just have to understand them and forgive them. And Arsenia said, I see now. I'm sorry. Well, what can I do now? And the monk said, well, first of all, you have to forgive yourself and understand that this is how life is now. You lost your family, but you have this love and you have to share it. Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. I want to share this love. this pain that it's on my back, it's hurting me so much, it's killing me. And the monk said, yes, I understand. But you see, your love now, it's not as pure as it was before. There was a lot of anger inside, and your sack, it's now rotten and it's not, clean as it was before, right? Where you keep your love. And he said, oh, I can see the sack now. Oh, that's interesting. Before it was invisible. Yeah. Well, I can see now yeah, you're right. It's not the same love. It's not as pure as it was before. So what can I do now with it? Said Arsenia. And the monk said, well, there is somebody that can have your love, all your love. Really? I want to give him all this sack. Please tell me who he is. And the monk said, well, God can have your love. Even if it's like this, dirty. Yes, even like that. Okay, so what do? I'm ready. But the monk said, well, you just have to keep your heart open, and that's enough. Okay, so he thanked the monk. He said goodbye. He left him also a lot of love from the sack, and he went back home. But this time, he was not very keen on sharing love, like pushing things. Just he was waiting for God to come up in a way or another and just ask for the love he had in his sack. And he had his heart open and his eyes open and ears open, and he just looked around waiting, and he went back home from city to city, from village to village, from town to town. But this time he didn't go to the big marketplaces and shouting, please come here, I have love, it's free. But he was so modest and waiting for things to happen, and they did happen, because this time he had time to see people that need a lot of love, and he gave them. Or people that were fighting on the road, and he went there and he gave them some love, and they were friends again. And there were situations and moments and people that actually came towards him, and they asked for the love, and he was very happy to share it. And you see, because his eyes were like more clean now, his heart was more open now, he could see that on the faces of these people, he could see God. And he was really happy. And he started to share and share and share. And he came back home. And it's like a miracle. This time, the sack was not the same big and loose, but it was very, very small. Like the love had really texture, and he could feel it and he could give it. And this time, the sack was very, very, very small. There was just a little bit of love left. And he shared it, even that one. He wanted to share all the love. And the moment he was in front of his house, his sack was empty. And he saw a beggar. And the beggar said, please, can I have some love too? Whatever you can give me, please. And Arsenia said, well, my sack is empty, but I can do from this sack, I can make you a coat, because it's going to come in winter anyway soon, so you need it. So he made fast a coat and he gave it. And the beggar said, well, thank you. You could take your sack off. Right. This is interesting. I'm like, it's the first time I can do that. Oh, anyway, I'm very happy. It's good for you. The coat is very good on you now. But the beggar said, well, you gave me your sack of love. Where are you going to put your love now? And Arsenia said, well, you see, I don't think I need it anymore, because now I'm sharing the love in here. So it's a Romanian saying from a saint called Arsenia too, that at the beginning, you share from what you have. And then afterwards, you share from what you are. So this is how Arsenia lived happy ever after. Și am încălecat pe așa și v-am spus povestea așa. Uiha.
Beautiful.
Yeah. This is a story that thank you very much, Phil. This is a story that I wrote, and let's just say it's a Romanian story because I put my heart in it, and I strongly believe that in a way, like you, John, are like that, like sharing so much and having all the time, that energy. It's not coming from what you have; it's from what you are. So, as a tribute to you, I'm sharing this love and this story.
Now I'm blushing.
Yeah. So, I'm having a little story now. It's a funny little story that I've heard from when I was in a festival in Kenya, in Sigana Festival in Nairobi, a couple of, I think it was 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I heard this story from a very good friend. She's a American storyteller, Christine Peremonti, and also another storyteller, very nice one. And she's from Denmark. I can't record her name now, but she's really sweet. And as we were talking at the breakfast, we started to share, of course, stories, And I heard this story, and it's so sweet. So let me just say it. Just shake, shake, shake. Breathe in, breathe out. Concentrate. Once upon a time, in the walls of a house, used to live, of course, a mother mouse and her three boys. Three sons, so sweet. One sweeter than you other one. One was the other one, and the small one, so sweet. Of course, the mother was very careful to teach them what to do, what's right, and of course, to take care of them because people were there and dogs were there around. So, a lot of dangers could happen to them. So one day, the mother said, well, my sons, I have to go to the marketplace. So just be very nice, be very quiet, and stay inside the house. Okay? Yeah, mom, said the first one. Yes, of course, said the second one. Uh, okay, said the little one. So the mother went very, uh, very sweet and very, how do you say, tranquila, or like very calm. But she went to the marketplace. But of course, when the mother was not there, the big one said, "How about we go out and like in the big house to see what's going on over there?" The second one said, "Well, I'm curious too, I want to see that too." "No, please stop," said the little one. Mom said, "Oh, yeah, 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 I know what she said. Well, we are, when we're boys, we can handle things." And the big one said, "Yeah, of course. I think I can remember the road back home, I think." "Well, isn't mom said, no, 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 nothing, nothing, nothing. Let's just go." So, okay. I mean, I'm curious too. It's just, okay, let's go. So they got out from the house, of course, in the wall. It's like in Tom and Jerry, the cartoon, and they went inside the house. Everything was big, was huge, amazing. You can see like big chairs, amazing for them. Big, big, big furnitures around. And the chandelier was amazing. All the candles, oh, it was like the sky. It was wonderful. But of course, the smell of the chicken, the smell in the kitchen of all the good things to eat. Mm-mm, 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 mm. So there was, of course, was meat, but was important thing was milk and cheese. A lot of cheese. So they went after the smell, they discovered where the kitchen was. They opened the fridge because a little bit it was open already. So they just got inside and started to eat. So good. This was delicious. It was amazing. It was heaven for them. But at that point, they heard something. They got so scared, they started to run in the kitchen all around from corner to corner. The noise was very close. So they started to run around, but they could not see where the entrance for their house was. So they started to run and run around the house, and the noise was closer and closer. So they just, all of them got just stuck. They freeze in one place with a little fear on the corner of their eyes, and said, "This is it. We are gonna die now. This is the end. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry for not listening to you." And the voice was so close. She could even grab them, and she said, but at that point, she heard something, ruff, 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 or hum, 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 hum. So the cat, like Schumacher, she left. And the kids were so happy. They started to recover a little bit, and they all got together, and they saw, and they said, "Mom, yeah?" And the mom said, "Yeah, sometimes it's good to know a foreign language." Și am încălecat pe așa și v-am spus povestea așa. Uite! Yeah.
Fantastic. What a fantastic night. Louis, did you enjoy it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Hasn't Giorgiana got a fantastic facial? Doesn't she make fantastic facial expressions?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You're
Now,
very sweet,
amazing.
Louis. Thank you for being with us today, Louis. Nice to meet you.
That's all right.
Well, I've got a question. I don't know if it's a question or a request, but I heard there was a Romanian version of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, where, or the Pied Piper, where the Pied Piper, but in the German story, the Pied Piper pipes the rats out, and then he doesn't pay, he's not paid, so he pipes the children out, and the children are never seen again. But in the Transylvanian version, they come out of a cave in Transylvania, and it's an explanation of why the old Germans in Transylvania, the people who came from Saxony, a folk tale of how they got there.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that version.
I haven't got the complete version. I just had, with stories, you get these little pieces in your head. I was hoping you would know the whole version.
No, I don't. I have to do some research too. I don't know the version, but yeah, of course, there are a lot of Germans that have, how were they called? It's in Romanian, it's called sash.
Yeah, they came from Saxony, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and they went back to Germany. A lot of families. 100 years ago, before communism, they started to leave back home. So yeah, there's a lot of, you can see. I mean, there's a Romanian story. Let's see, tinerețe fără bătrânețe, youngness without oldness, something like that, and life without death it's called, and it's like forever living, something like forever young, something like that. It's a beautiful fairy tale, Romanian fairy tale, and I was so happy to share it with some friends. And I was in a festival in Warsaw at Mihail Malinowski a lot of years ago, and then my friend Pedro Lopez, who's also a storyteller, he's from Portugal, and I started to tell the story, and he said, "We have that story too." I said, "No, you don't. This is Romanian." I said, No. We have a Portuguese version of that, and it's very our own version." And I said, "I can't believe this. This is amazing. Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah." So we started to combine, to share the stories, and it was pretty much the same note, the same theme, the same idea. So stories.
People are all over the world. Well, it's been wonderful, Giorgiana. In October, when I get to Romania, I must come. We must meet. And right now we got some great stuff coming up on the cafe. On Sunday, we're going to have, now whether anyone will understand a word of our Sunday's program, because it's it's a particular dialect around Aberdeen in the north of Scotland called Doric. It's a language part. How I'm saying that wrong, aren't I, Phil?
No, Doric's right. Doric's right.
Right, Doric's right. Well, I mispronounce everything from all over the world. It's a skill I've got. And there's Phil, who's down in my screen in the bottom corner with the beautiful multicolored brickwork behind. And there's her friend Jackie Ross, and they're going to be telling stories in Doric or Doric stories. And there's going to be Pauline Cordner, who's going to be singing ballads.
Yep, that's right.
That's going to be we're all going to have to readjust our ears.
We've got a quiz, and we've also got a quiz for you at the end. We're going to challenge you on your understanding of some of these Doric words.
So that's Sunday.
Yep.
Monday, and I've still got to put the full cast together for this. We're looking at bringing history alive through story. We did it the other day, and it was got a really good response. And now I'm behind in organizing it. But I do have Baba C coming in from Washington DC as one of the contributors. And then on Tuesday, of course, 1 hour earlier at 5 o'clock London time, we have our young international tellers. And Giorgiana has promised me she's going to bring along 2 of her pupils, 2 young Romanian tellers. And so we have tellers from all over the world. It varies from week to week which countries are on. It's open. It's a sort of open mic for young tellers. And we've had young tellers on from Gaza, from Scotland. We have our star from Scotland, don't we? We're 2 stars from Scotland, and Punjab and East Anglia in England. So we get a good world mix, and we're now going to. We have had one girl from Romania before. She came on to the very first one. And then we had another Romanian girl who lived in England. But you'll be the first of the Romanian children that have been on for some weeks. So that's Tuesday.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't even remember who's our teller for next Friday. But it will be someone, Louis. Don't worry, I will arrange someone. And if I fail, it'll have to be me or Mike or someone. But anyway, it's been great. Could we give Giorgiana one more huge, fantastic round of applause?
Thank you very much for having me, John. Thank you very much. And your friends for being here. And I really hope that stories can go further.
One more huge, fantastic round of applause. We got that's my other self.
Yeah. You friends for being here, and I really hope that stories can go further.
One more huge, fantastic. All right, bye bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Louis. Bye bye, Mike.